I haven't drawn for fun with graphite pencils in over 25 years, and I'm a professional artist. Why? This. You see this shiny metallic glare? This is graphite bloom, and I can't stand it. Fortunately, there's one pencil, one in the whole universe, that claims to be graphite without the shine. If this pencil actually delivers, then this is life-changing for so many of us. This graphite shine, it's actually quite natural, and many have gotten used to it, but it can also be a nuisance. And for those of us who film and photograph our art, it's a nightmare. It also complicates the process of drawing, because if you're getting this glare while you're actually shading, you may not be able to gauge how light or dark you're going with your transitions. And in the end, your entire drawing can be completely off because of this one thing. There are, of course, graphite alternatives, and over the years I've explored and mastered many of them. One is charcoal pencils, but charcoal can actually be quite challenging to work with, and it's also super smudgy and basically impossible to protect even with fixatives. Another alternative is colored pencils, but wax pencils, which are the most popular and the ones that I prefer using, still have their own bloom. And that brings us to this stuff, Faber Castell's Pitt Graphite Matte. The first thing I noticed is how brilliant the cover is. As I run my fingers over the picture, the shiny part is actually glossy, and the matte part is actually matte. That's a really nice touch. No pun intended. Inside, we have 8 specialty pencils and 8 traditional ones, plus some bells and whistles, erasers and whatnot. Don't actually care about any of that stuff. Looking at the 2 types of pencils, though, we can immediately see the stark difference. Honestly, if I didn't know better, I would swear this was charcoal. This gives me a lot of hope already. Now, what doesn't give me hope is the fact that this matte set starts with HB and keeps going up into the B realm. That's quite unusual and actually a bit unsettling. I'm concerned that these will be too dark to shade with, and my new subject is another marble statue. The shading needs to be precise and delicate. So what are these numbers and why are they so important to understand? I'm used to this with the graphite scale. H, F, HB, and B being the mid-tone pencils, and then everything going off into the H realm and into the B realm in opposite directions. 7H can never get darker than this, no matter how much you press. 9H can never get darker than this, no matter how hard you press. And H stands for hard. These pencils are physically hard, they don't crumble, and they're very light on the pigment. B stands for not hard. It actually stands for black, and it doesn't seem super logical, but it actually makes sense because B pencils are much darker and also much softer. Immediately, I'm blown away by how light HB is. I did not expect this. What I'm seeing on this tip of the pencil and what I'm seeing on the paper are 2 totally different things, and it's awesome. This HB is as light as I would say a 5H or a 6H on a regular graphite scale. I don't know how they did it. They actually invented a new formula for graphite, and that is extraordinary. And Faber Castell is not a sponsor of this video, by the way. They didn't ask me to review these. It's 100% my genuine first time trying these pencils and my absolutely brutally honest opinion. So my concern here was that I would have to bring in traditional glossy graphite for my light shading anyway, and it looks like I won't need to do that, so yay! Going up in the B numbers, I can see that the darkness increases gradually and steadily, going all the way up to 14B. 14B, that is impressive. I know that a lot of people in the hyper-realistic portrait community love using this particular pencils for the tiny detail on the pupil of the eye, because it's basically as black as a black marker. And it looks like these are pretty easy to erase as well. Even after doing the swatch test though, I start my shading very lightly and timidly, but immediately I get into the groove of things. The shading is smooth and I'm surprised that the tip stays as sharp as it does. I hardly have to take this thing to the sharpener, which is unusual, but we're still on the low end of the spectrum, so when we get to the darker pencils, I'm expecting to sharpen them a little bit more often. If you want to practice shading this lion statue sketch as well, it's my gift to everyone. Scan this QR code or follow the clickable link in the video description and get your free download of my lion. Quick note on these gift pages that I offer in every single video. If you don't immediately see the download in your mailbox, please check your spam folder. It's probably there. Moving further into the dark shadows of the lion's mane, I am now using my 4B and 8B to build up stronger shadows. I won't be using every single pencil in this box though. In fact, I pulled out only HB, 4B, 8B, and 12B for this project. Faber Castell provided us with 8 pencils, already thinned down to every other numbers. So why did I thin this even further? It all comes down to your shading style and your comfort level. Consider the kinds of gradients you'll be practicing on your composition. For instance, on tiny sharp gradients like those around the eye and the nose and those tiny little curls in the mane, the transition is so sharp, so immediate that we can go from nearly pure black to nearly pure white in just like a micromillimeter. So there's no need to bring in a ton of pencils for a tiny transition like that. You can immediately come in with your 12B and then blend it with your HB, which is on the opposite side of the spectrum. However, on long and diffuse gradients, such as on these areas of his face, you may want to bring in more pencils like HB and then build it up with a 2B and a 4 and a 6 and an 8 and so on. You get the idea. And you can practice some gradient transition shading on this chart that also comes with your Lion page download. See what combination of pencils require this specific effect with your hand and your shading style. I gotta say, so far as I'm shading this lion's mane, I'm not seeing any glare in real life or on camera at all. It's kind of trippy. It feels like working with graphite, but it looks like working with charcoal. And as far as going back to that sharpener, it turns out that no matter how dark my pencils are, I don't need to sharpen them very often. They keep a very sharp tip. And I also had a bunch of paper blenders and Q-tips on standby, anticipating that I will have to blend quite a bit. On this 4-hour project, I brought in a blender only twice, and I feel like it wasn't even necessary. Reason being, the shading here is so smooth, it actually looks better with hand shading than it does with blender smudging. I don't know, maybe it's because I work with ballpoint pen so much, and ballpoint, it's unforgiving. You can't blend ballpoint, so you have to actually build up every single gradient stroke by stroke. You're basically painting pixel by pixel. I really enjoy this kind of intricate shading, so I applied it to my entire lion statue, which is probably why it took 4 hours. I imagine if you use blending stumps more than I did, you can speed this process up quite a bit. Again, this depends entirely on your stylistic choice and work style. And if you'd like to know how to draw this lion from scratch, starting from building up geometry, moving up to detail, and finally understanding every decision on the shading process, I added 3 surprise bonus lessons to my How to Draw Cats masterclass. So if you're already in that program, go past the final project and you'll see 3 surprise bonus lessons. If you're an artisan of mine in the academy, you already have access to all of my courses, so you can just go directly there. And my artisans, by the way, you guys also have the full 4-hour recording of this in our bonuses and rewards section, so check that out. The further I get into this project, the more I'm completely baffled by the fact why more people aren't using this stuff. Yes, in the hyper-realistic graphite portrait community, this tool is well known. But even there, a lot of people use it just for that tiny little eye detail. But outside of the hyper-realism community, the hobbyists, the students, the aspiring artists don't seem to even be aware of this. Yet, I still see thousands of people complaining about the graphite glare on Reddit. Maybe it's because Faber Castell is literally the only brand on the planet who makes this stuff. They actually invented a new chemical formula for graphite after 300 years of artists suffering from metallic bloom, which is quite extraordinary. And they have a patent on it. So the rarity of this pencil could be the reason, but the popularity of the brand, you would think would make up for it? Maybe it's the price. Common graphite is common for a reason. It's kinda dirt cheap. Yes, we do have fancier art sets by various brands, but graphite pencils are easily accessible. Walk into any public building and you'll see graphite pencils just laying around everywhere. People just take them. Our kitchen cabinets are filled with them, they're scattered around our desks, we don't even remember buying them anymore. They're just kind of part of life. So I think that's the bigger reason. Why pay for graphite when it's basically free? This fancy set right here set me back $40. And what I got for it is basically 8 pencils that I wanted. The rest of this, I don't even need. I have a million blenders and a million erasers. All this stuff is just gonna go to the trash. I don't actually need a second set of graphites to go along with this either. It makes for a cool comparison demo, but I literally bought this set because I hate shiny graphite and they gave me 8 shiny graphites with it. So that's a little weird. With 16 pencils in a $40 box, that brings the cost of each pencil to $2.50. That's the equivalent of a standalone Prismacolor Premier pencil, which is not cheap. If you draw a lot and you got used to drawing with graphite, spending $2.50 per pencil every time can certainly add up. So maybe not the best deal in the world. Fortunately, there's smaller versions of this set. I also got this one for about $10 and it has just the 6 matte pencils in it, no fluff and filler, and useless trinkets. This brings the price of a single pencil down to about $1.50, which is quite reasonable. To put things in perspective, the Faber Castell charcoal drawing set is basically the same price. And generally a box of 6 to 10 charcoal pencils will run you between $8 and $12. So that's comparable. If we were to continue making these projects with Prismacolor pencils, which is mostly what I do now anyway, that's going to run us $2.50 per pencil, and I personally would need about 4 pencils to complete a project like that, so that's about $10 as well. And while common graphite is basically a dime a dozen, if you want to get a nicely organized artist set, that puts you in the same exact price range, which makes this little box no more expensive than the regular tools we already use anyway. Okay. I had an amazing time working with these, but seeing my 2 pages side by side really made me wish I had bought these before going into the angel drawing. I guess now I have to do it again. I know some of you in the comment section will say that you actually like the glossy look of graphite, and that's perfectly fine. But me, I want to see my art and not the glare. Examining the matte graphite drawing further, I'll be brutally honest, it's not flawless. There's still a little bit of bloom present, and in fact, let's bring in a charcoal drawing to compare the two. Now, charcoal is 100% bloom free. You couldn't make it shiny if you wanted to. So seeing these two together reveals that Pitt Graphite Matte, while being revolutionary and groundbreaking, still isn't 100% glare free. But in my book, it's close enough. Let's compare it to a wax-colored pencil drawing. This is literally more bloom on the Prismacolor drawing than there is on the graphite. So you decide, how important is it to you that it's only 98% glare-free and not 100? And if this pencil didn't completely blow your mind and make you want to go get a set and try it out, learn how to achieve a perfectly matte finish with charcoal instead. Me, I'm starting on a portrait with matte graphite next, so stay tuned for that. I declare my life officially changed by this pencil.